Hello, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm teacher Oakley. Good morning, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again. I have stomach ache.
Oh no,
Uh,
oh dear.
I have such tendency. Then I don't eat too much, but yesterday I ate too much. Then it caused my stomach ache.
Okay, well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Also, good morning, Vu. Hello,
How
how are
are
you
you,
today?
teacher? I'm doing well. And you?
Okay, I'm good. Another soaking wet, rainy day here where
Oh,
I
man.
live. Is it raining? Is it raining where you are, Vu?
No, teacher, it's sunny day. Yes, a
Really?
nice day.
Just won't stop raining here in the Philippines. Just constant.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ridiculous actually. Hello, Luo. How are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. It's good to see you again, Oakley. Mm.
Always a pleasure on my end as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today and for the next 3 days, actually, at this particular time slot, we're going to be looking at reported speech. Now, feel free to ask questions at any time because I know this is kind of a complicated sentence structure to grasp because we can do two different things depending on why we're reporting the speech. Are we reporting somebody's beliefs or thoughts, or are we reporting actual spoken material that somebody else said? Are we reporting it as now, or are we back reporting it? In other words, reporting it as a past event. These things get very complicated. Today we're going to specifically try to look at reported speech with statements. We're also going to look at different verb tenses. Got a lot to look at, actually. And, of course, as always, I'll try to give you guys a chance to practice some of this, make your own sentences. Okay, just real basic examples here. Start getting the idea. Let me do a screen share. Okay. We use reported speech when we are saying what other people say, specifically exactly what they said, like quoting. Possibly we could use reported speech to talk about what someone else thinks or believes. Okay, he says he wants it. Simple enough. All right, this is in the present tense, but of course, the difficulty with reported speech here he says he wants it. All right, I'm talking about what he thinks or he believes. He wants it, whatever it is. Fine, but if I'm actually reporting that he said he wants it, then this reported speech would be more like he said he wants it. Okay, I I back date it, so to speak, to actually quote him. Obviously, he's already said it. Okay, obviously the next example here, we think you are right, is what... okay, you're talking about what we think. All right, so obviously this is going to stay in the present tense. This can't be, we have the verb think, so this can't be actually a quote, unlike when we use the verb says. I believe he loves her. Okay, I'm reporting my own thoughts. Okay, fine, so we stay in the present tense. All right, notice when I have a time phrase or a time clause, Yesterday you said, all right, past tense, you didn't like it, but now you do. Okay. Notice I have past tense here because obviously I have to use past tense because I actually use the word yesterday. She told me he had asked her to marry him. Okay. She told me, past tense, he had asked. All right. Notice the use of the past perfect. I'm just showing you these variations. We're going to look at them much more closely here. Okay. I told you she was ill. We thought he was in Australia. Okay. In general, okay. When we're reporting things in the present, future, or present perfect, we don't change the tense. He thinks he loves her. All right, that's present tense. I will tell her you are coming. Okay, if we're reporting what we're going to do, we're going to say, right, then it wouldn't make sense to actually change the tense of the reported speech. Or present perfect, he has said he will do it. All right. All right. Well, obviously, also, again, kind of impossible. All right. But, however, when we tell people, because present perfect has a relationship to now. Okay. However, when we tell people what someone has said in the past, we generally are going to make the tense more in the past. For example, all right, the statement said, you look very nice. Okay, I told him he looked very nice. Later, if I'm explaining this, if I'm reporting this speech, I'm going to make it more in the past. He's working in Siberia now. She told me he was working in Siberia now. Okay, again, notice the present continuous tense here. This person has said this in the past. We're assuming this was said in the past, and we're reporting it. She said Polly had bought a new car. All right. So notice had bought, we were actually using past perfect tense because the original statement, Polly has bought a new car. Present perfect. So as we report it, she said, past tense. The actual action goes more in the past to past perfect tense. All right, if you see the idea here. Let me welcome a couple others to class, and we'll actually try this out. Hello, Joseph. Good evening. How are you? Hello, I heard a clicking and a thumping. Your microphone working?
Hi, Oakley. Hi.
Oh, there you go.
I had problems. Some problems with my.
Okay,
I clicked in the wrong site.
Oh, okay. Well, I can hear you now. You're good. All right. Welcome to the class. Hello. And also welcome to Edson. Hello, Edson.
Hello, Teacher Oakley. Good night, or maybe good afternoon,
Or maybe
morning.
good morning, where I am.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Edson, I like your new avatar.
Yeah, it's from my favorite TV show.
Oh, you like that, do you?
Yeah, do you know him?
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
watch it with my kids sometimes.
Yeah?
You know, yeah.
Well, you know, it's really funny.
It is funny, actually.
Yeah, that's the way I learn.
Really?
Yeah, really. I'm
Actually,
doing
very.
that show just for.
Actually, that's not a bad. It's a silly little cartoon, but on the other hand, they use very practical, conversational, adult English. Although it appears to be a cartoon for children, it isn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's funny.
They
Maybe
use
the kids didn't catch all the meaning, but
right. It's
maybe I
sometimes
can
I
a little
think
bit
it's
more than.
over the kid's head. Yeah, and they use slang, they use reduced speech. Actually,
Exactly.
for conversational English, it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, and I have
Interesting.
a good time with it.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of funny.
worked for me.
What's the name of the show? Uh,
Regular show.
the regular show. That's it. Yeah, right. Plus the characters are so weird. Like Gumball. God,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
crazy.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's so
silly.
weird, but it's,
Uh,
well, I like it.
all right. Uh, okay. Now, if I'm telling Edson, I like the show. I watched the show too. Heidi, how would you say that in reported speech? Heidi, are you there?
Yes, you said
Yeah,
you had watched the show.
very good. You said you had watched the show, or you could say uh, Oakley told Edson that he watched the show. All right. Now, it depends how I would say that. Uh, okay, Vu, what if I told Edson I have watched the show before? How would you report that? Vu?
Teacher, he said he have had a watch to show.
Before. Okay.
Mm,
Almost, he said, or you said, or Oakley said.
yeah,
Okay. Oakley said he had watched the show before. All right. Past perfect tense. He had watched the show before. All right. So I'm making it more in the past. Of course, it's perfectly normal for me to say, oh, I watched that show, present tense, or it's equally perfectly normal for me to say, oh, I have watched that show. All right. Being that I watched it in the past and I'm quite likely to do so again in the future. Uh, okay. Vu, you are doing a good job learning English. Now, Luo, can you report what I just told Luo? Vu, sorry.
Yes, Oakley just told Vu. Vu has did a good job.
Okay. Making it more in the past, Vu has been doing a good
Has
job
been.
of
Mhm.
learning English. Yes, has been doing. So you're going to keep the continuous tense. All right. Excuse me. Pardon me. You're going to keep the in the reported speech. You want to keep continuous tense because for some reason the speaker has decided to option for a continuous tense to stress uh, the extended time period of the verb. So as you're reporting it, you're gonna keep that. So here's another kind of general rule: if it's been spoken originally with perfect tense, you want to try to keep perfect tense in the reported speech. If it's been spoken with continuous tense, same. If it's been spoken with simple present, same. You're going to try to keep it in a simple tense. Notice in order to do that, I had to use an actual, for this example with Luo, I had to use continuous, but I had to use a past perfect continuous to make it more in the past. All right. Um, okay. Uh, okay. Let's see. Joseph, uh, if I tell Heidi, I hope she feels better soon. Ooh, that's a tough one. I hope she feels better soon. How would you report that?
Mm,
I hope you feel better soon. Okay.
it's for Heidi.
Yep. But you're going to report what I said. So Oakley said, or Oakley told Heidi.
Or Oakley mentioned.
That could
Oakley
work.
brought
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, however you want to say it. Yeah. Oakley told Heidi, Oakley said, Oakley mentioned, Oakley.
Yeah, Oakley mentioned that uh, he hoped that Heidi uh, uh, felt felt good. Felt
Would
felt good.
you're going to still use the modal would feel better. But you're right, hoped, past tense. Also, okay, all right. I'm going to write this in the, because this is interesting here. I'm going to write this in the chat. Oakley mentioned. Notice Joseph used that. Very good.
It's like in the 12 IBT, I think Oakley it's similar. When you have to report what a speaker says, so the man, the woman mentioned,
Yeah.
the lecturer mentioned, that's the same, I think.
Yes, it's very similar. Yes, you do. Exactly. It is reported speech. A number of those questions in the TOEFL exam are reported speech. You're absolutely correct. All right, so it would look something like this. Oakley mentioned that all right, he hoped Heidi would feel better. Okay. He hoped, this was a tough one actually, Joseph, because we've got kind of future in the past problem going on here, past tense, and then would is the future. All right, but basically that's what it would look like.
You said Heidi will.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that with Edson. Edson, I'm going to tell Joseph. Let's try it with future tense. Now let's see how this works. Joseph, I know you will pass the TOEFL exam. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Edson, how are you going to
Uh,
report that?
Teacher Oakley said to whom, teacher? To Joseph?
To Joseph, yeah.
To Joseph that he will pass his exam. His
Okay.
TOEFL exam.
That he knows he will pass the exam, or that he will pass the exam. That's okay. Notice future tense. Notice that Edson did not make it more in the past. You really can't. Okay? That was good, Edson. Perfect, as a matter of fact. All right. That was a little bit of a trick. I was a little bit trying to trap you. But when you talk about, when you report a future statement using will or going to, either or any of the future verb tenses, you can't make it more in the past. It's just it's impossible, really. It wouldn't make sense. Okay. Now, just to further confuse things, if you're not confused enough already, however, when we're reporting something that was said in the past but is still true, it is possible, but it is not obligatory to make the tense more in the past. It's up to the speaker. For example, the train doesn't stop here. All right, well, this is a very good example of talking about public transportation. Some weird things happen when we talk about transportation, by the way. Okay, he said the train doesn't stop here. Okay. keeping it present tense. He said the train didn't stop here. Either one of these options is actually okay. Simple statement here. I like Sarah. She said she likes Sarah. Okay. She said she liked Sarah. Now, why would you choose to use either of these options? Likely, again, doesn't matter. It's not obligatory, but likely the reason that you might choose one option or the other is how long ago did she say she liked Sarah? I mean, if it was 5 minutes ago, you would probably just keep the present tense. Obviously, there are circumstances wherein we do reported speech. For example, if I'm on the phone and I'm talking to someone and I'm reporting the speech directly to you, I'm basically translating the speech, or for example, a translator. Okay, when somebody translates language, they don't use reported speech. They don't back tense it. They don't make it more in the past, usually, because it's more thought of more as a direct, close enough to now, okay? For example, or, you know, if you're at a party and said, oh, I just talked to Wanda. She said, I just talked to Mark. Better make it Mark. Mark said that he likes Sarah. Okay, well, then you'd keep it in the present tense. It's more likely you would backshift it to more of a past tense if it happened 3 days ago, for example. Okay, we're going to go through all this again, looking at it in a slightly different way. One other thing, when we're reporting what was said, we sometimes have to change other words. That is a fact. We're going to look at that much more intensely here in a minute. We may, in fact, have to change a pronoun if we're reporting what someone else said. In each case of these examples, the next two examples, somebody said, I don't want to go. All right, simple present. Okay, I said I didn't want to go. All right, I don't have to change the pronoun. Okay, if Bill is the one who makes the statement, I don't want to go, I'm going to have to change it to Bill said he didn't want to go. So I have to concern myself with both of these pronouns. He said he didn't want to go is possible here. If you don't know Bill's name or whatever. Okay, so the speaker says, I don't want to go. He said he didn't want to go. So obviously I need to change pronouns. This is very, very common. We also may have to change words referring to here and now. We have to take into consideration place and time. All right, so if the statement has anything to do with place or time, we're going to have to change the wording slightly. For example, the statement is, I'll be there at 10 tomorrow. If it's still the same day but later, he said he would be there at 10 tomorrow. Okay. Notice he said all right. He would be there at 10 tomorrow. He said he will be there at 10 tomorrow. Either one would actually be okay. However, if it's the next day, obviously tomorrow is now today. That happens. He said he would be there at 10 today. Okay. So clearly, I mean, obviously the reason that you're changing the word tomorrow and today is because, well, time continues. Duh. All right, now concerning places, he said he would be there tomorrow at 10, if we're talking about a different place here. If we are in fact in the place he's coming to, he said he would be here at 10 tomorrow. Here, there, anywhere. Obviously, we're going to have to shift our wording so that our vocabulary actually makes sense. Okay. Now, we're going to look at that a little more practice. Okie doke. All right. Now we're going to, we've looked at the different elements. Now we're going to look at them in conjunction and practice. All right. So, again, when transforming statements, check whether you have to change the pronouns. The present tense verb, sometimes you have to conjugate the verb differently if you change the pronoun. For example, simply, you know, I run, he runs, they run, those kinds of things. All right. Place and time expressions we just looked at, and of course tenses for backshift. So these are the elements you have to look at. Now, for example, direct speech, I speak English. Notice it's in quotation marks. Reported speech with no backshift. He says that he speaks English. If you are reporting this, again, as in someone is on the phone and you're reporting what they're saying, or you're translating, or this spoken statement, I speak English, was just said, or for example, I didn't hear him. What did he say? He says that he speaks English. I wouldn't backshift if, for example, someone simply didn't hear. Pardon me, what did he say? He says that he speaks English. I wouldn't bother to backshift in that situation. All right, because I'm basically directly transferring information from one person to another. It's not necessary to backshift, and it's not likely. Obviously, if I'm reporting it the next day, I would use backshift. He said that he spoke English. Like that. Okay. All right. So, let's look at each one of these elements again. Pronouns. You have to change pronouns depending on who said what. She says, my mom doesn't have time today. She says that, okay, this is what she actually said. This is the actual statement. So obviously I have to change the possessive pronoun from my to her. Okay, she says that her mom doesn't have time today, for example. Let's try that out. Okay. Let's see. Vu, if I said, let's see, what can I say? I said, my cat is sick today. Vu, how would you report that tomorrow, for example?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. How could you report that? Today, I said my cat is sick today.
I will talk tomorrow. I talk about the set.
What I said, yes. What I said just now.
Yes. Yesterday, teacher Oakley told me his cat was in.
Perfect. Very good. Vu, that was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. First of all, you used the time word or time phrase yesterday to make it much more clear. Thank you. I was hoping you would do that. Very good. If you can use time phrases to make any English statement, any speaking more clear, you should always opt to do so. Very good. Oakley told me, great use of pronouns, that his, instead of my, his cat was sick, because you're saying it, you're going to do the back shift. That was absolutely perfect. Okay. Great. Okay. Okay. All right. Vu's statement was perfect. All right, Luo, how would you report that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
You mean Vu's statement was right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Vu's statement was perfect. Let's see. I'll write it over here.
Yeah. Was perfect.
What I said was perfect.
Okay. Yesterday, Vu told us Oakley hand told him his cat was sick, and Vu's statement was perfect.
Whoa. Oh, you're combining two reported speeches. Ooh, you're making it trickier than what I was asking you to do, but okay. All right. Wait a minute. How would I report both those things? All right, this is interesting. Yesterday, Oakley told Vu his cat was sick, and Oakley also told Vu his statement had been perfect. I can't go more simple. Also told his statement, I guess his statement was perfect. Because I have the two combinations, I can't make one. And actually, really, I said his statement was perfect after I talked about the cat. So I'm kind of trapped there. I can't really go to a past perfect tense. It's interesting when we combine statements. If I'm just talking about that I said Vu's statement was perfect, yesterday Oakley said that Vu's statement had been perfect. I can use past perfect tense, go more in the past. Okay, actually we're going to look at that. Tenses. Actually, let's go there. Well, let me try a quick one with pronouns here with Joseph. Okay. Joseph, my wife is working today. Ooh, present continuous. All right. How would you report that tomorrow?
Oakley said that his wife no.
Yeah, no, you're good so far.
Was working.
Yes.
Was working today.
Except that you would have to change it to yesterday. Right?
Yesterday.
Yeah, Oakley said that his wife was working yesterday. Very good. Okay, great. Great. Okay, and actually, I'm forcing you guys to do all kinds of things here. Hang on a second. I can't talk to you now. I am busy. I'm on the phone. Sorry, you have to leave. Oh, I can't talk to you now. Sorry. God, crazy people here. I'm sorry about that. Jeez.
What happened, Oakley?
They're nuts. People just there's a gate, but it's unlocked, and people just come in the gate and walk in your house. You have to actually physically remove them. It really makes me angry.
So it's not everyone in Philippines knows English, right?
No, not at all. Definitely not. That guy was not speaking English, but he knows "go away."
Okay.
Everybody knows when you talk like that.
Well, I don't care. You know, it's rude to just walk in someone's house. I don't care if I'm rude to them, you know. Sorry, but don't walk in my house. You're lucky I don't shoot you. Crazy. Okay. All right. All right. Do not change the tense of the statement that you're reporting if the introductory clause is in the simple present. In other words, as in he says. Note, however, that you might have to change the form of the present tense verb to the third person singular. Okay. So, for example, he says, I speak English. Reported speech, he says that he speaks English. No backshift. All right. So this is, again, I kind of think of this is my own idea. I tend to think of this non-backshift as more like translation. You're just translating directly the material. This is my own concept, all right? You're not going to see this really in a grammar book. I tend to separate reported speech, which you have to use backshift because it's coming later, with just translating, just moving information from one place to another, which I think of as more like just translating material, moving it from one person to another. All right, so that's the way I think about it. And I don't know, it may help you, it may confuse you, but it helps me to think about the different ways of doing reported speech. Am I just moving that information from A to B, or am I actually reporting something that happened in the past? Translated or transferred information. Actually, transferred information is better, right? Okay, he says I speak English. He says that he speaks English. I'm just moving that information from one person to another. Okay, backshift. You have to change the tense if the introductory clause is in the simple past, as in he said. And this is called backshift. He said, I am happy. Okay, he said that he was happy. I have to change this information. So Joseph was talking about the TOEFL test earlier, which has a lot of good deal of the at least a couple questions, 2 or 3 questions have to do with reporting what the person said and why they said it. And so you're going to have to use this backshift. He said, okay, the man said that he was unhappy about the new policy, for example.
But but I always don't those questions, but I do it in a present present when.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. You just have to be consistent. Okay, it's okay. Look, here's this weird thing. Okay, where is it?
For example, in the third question, when you say when the man says that it's a good decision, it's a bad decision. I didn't say he said that it was a bad decision or it was a good decision.
Yeah, here is the rule that corresponds with what you're saying. All right. It is okay to do that, Joseph, because when we're reporting something that was said in the past, but it is still true, in the TOEFL test, you are looking at this as an event that just happened and the information is still true, and so you're reporting what they should or shouldn't do. You're reporting why he believes what he believes. So you're reporting it as if this information is still true, and it is not obligatory to make tense more in the past. It's up to the speaker. So, for example, on the TOEFL exam, when you're reporting speech, this is the rule that's guiding you. It's not necessary. You could do it either way in point of fact, for the two reasons that the information is still true, and also because you just heard this, you just listened to this. So, all right. For example, if you would do the same thing if you were, for example, let's see, you watch a news program, and the President of the United States says that they're going to invade Ukraine. Ah, horrors, no. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, you may call up your friend, I can't believe what I just saw on the news. The President says he's going to invade Ukraine. All right, I'm reporting that. Present tense, I'm not using Backshift, but it's still true. It's okay. If I wanted to use Backshift, I could. I could say, oh my God, I just watched the news and the President said that he was going to invade Ukraine. I could do it either way. All right.
Okay.
Partly because there's no, in those TOEFL recordings, or in my example, the actual, he hasn't invaded Ukraine yet. In the TOEFL exam, the situations are not resolved. They're all open-ended. There's no end to the story. You have to report that part. So there's no conclusion. Thus, the information is still true because it's open-ended. You're reporting something that hasn't concluded yet. So it's perfectly okay to use present tense.
Okay. Yeah, I was a little confused. I didn't notice that I was doing that.
Yeah, so I never corrected you because I don't have to, because it's okay to do that. It's a little confusing, I know, but that's actually another way. I just thought of that just now myself. Actually, if the information itself is open-ended, is still true, has not been resolved, or nothing has changed the facts, then it's perfectly normal and perfectly okay to use present tense. All right. Looking at Backshift. Let's look at Backshift in regards to each and every freaking tense. If we're going to use Backshift in direct speech is simple present, then our reported speech will be simple past. If our direct speech is present progressive or present continuous, whatever you want to call it, then our reported speech is past progressive. Actually, you just did that in the last example that you had to do. Simple past or present perfect simple, you're going to use past perfect simple. All right? Okay. All right. So if I say, for example, let's try this. I think the first two are fairly simple and easy. Let's try this. Let me try present perfect simple. Okay, I think we did this earlier. If I say Edson, welcome back, first of all. If I say Edson, I have watched that show, then how would you report that using Backshift?
Teacher Oakley said that he had watched that
That's
show.
it. Past perfect simple. That's it. Very, very good. As simple as that, okay? Now, it gets tricky. If the statement is in past perfect simple, for example, I had watched that show before. Oh boy.
Okay. If you said that you had,
Watched that show before. I had seen that
Teacher
show.
Oakley said that he had watched that show.
Okay. He had been watching that show.
Had
Yee.
watched it.
Past perfect progressive. See, the problem is here that you're going to run into non-continuous or mixed verbs, which cannot be progressive. That cannot be continuous tense. That's the problem with this little chart here we're looking at. The problem is with things like loving or seeing. He had been seeing that show. No, he had seen that show. Again, I'm going to have to, if you run into a non-continuous, non-progressive, or possibly mixed verb, like loving, you're not really supposed to say loving or hating. I am hating this. Okay. I was hating that. It wouldn't make sense. So you couldn't even make past progressive. I was running for miles. All right. Teacher Oakley said he had been running for miles. There's past perfect progressive. Because, of course, running, I can use a continuous tense. So, had been running for miles. That's where past progressive becomes past perfect. Present perfect. I have been running for miles. He said he had been running for miles. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I had run for miles. He had been running for miles again. All right. So where it gets tricky is with those crazy non-continuous verbs. Then you're going to default, more or less, back to the past perfect simple. Ooh, that's tough. Past perfect progressive.
It's going to take me a little bit.
Well, it's tough because nobody, even I'm a teacher and I haven't memorized all the non-continuous verbs. Really, there's just too many. Be a crazy thing to do. Plus, there's so many mixed verbs that it's pointless. It's a pointless exercise to try to memorize them because mixed verbs can work sometimes in a continuous fashion and sometimes not. The verb to have, sometimes the verb to be, for that matter. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. You can say I am having a party, but you can't say I am having a new car. That makes no sense at all. Okay. Future I, going to or will. Okay. This is interesting. Future I am going to buy a new car. All right. I guess it would have to be, Teacher Oakley said he was going to buy a new car. Aha. Okay. This is interesting. And with the future I with the will, again, future simple tense, you would use the conditional with would. Okay. So in other words, well, let's try this out. Vu, I will buy a new car. Okay. How would you use backshift to say Oakley said
Oakley says he would buy a new car.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, so I guess it is possible to use reported speech backshift with future tense. Okay, now it is tricky. This is all very tricky. Conditional I would, conditional direct statement. All right, I would like to buy a new car, but now I have like, The modal verbs could, should, would, might, must, needn't, ought to, used to, do not normally change. That's true. We've seen a few examples of this where if the direct speech has a modal, we don't change that modal. For example, she might be right. He said that she might be right. Okay, so, all right. So we're not really changing nothing in a conditional statement. Cool. All right, so let's try that. Luo, I used to swim every day. Okay, how would you report that?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Sure. My direct speech statement is I used to swim every day.
Yes, Oakley said he used to swimming every day.
He used to swim. No, you don't need to do anything, actually.
Swim.
Yeah.
Sorry, because of my bad memory. I cannot remember. What did you say?
Yeah. So when we're using these hypothetical statements or conditional statements, you don't have to shift anything in reported speech. Well, that's convenient. Okay. Again, you need to be aware of place and time expressions, of course. You have to check whether the place and time are the same in direct speech and reported speech. Okay. Wow, this is complicated, but okay. For example, it is Friday and you meet James at a restaurant. All right. James tells you that he saw Caroline in this restaurant today. I saw Caroline here today is the direct statement. A few minutes later, Helen joins you and you want to report what James has told you. Place is here and the time is today are the same, and you can say James said that he had seen Caroline here today. So I can obviously still okay, I'm using Backshift, had seen instead of saw. Okay, so looking at my tenses, simple past, I'm changing to past perfect simple. Oops. Okay, so that corresponds, that's right. And I don't have to worry about here, and I don't have to worry about today, because it's the same day. However, one day later, you meet Mary at the same restaurant. You must like that restaurant. Again, you want to report to her exactly the same thing that James has told you. The place is the same, but not the time. So you would say, James said that he had seen, again, past perfect, Caroline here yesterday. So I'm changing yesterday. I'm still keeping here because you're still in the restaurant. All right, if you can follow all of that. All right, it's very straightforward, actually, if you're able to follow all of that. Okay. Oh my goodness, still a few days later. Tom rings you at home. He calls you at your house. Again, you want to report the same statement that James has told you. Now, but you're no longer at the restaurant, but you're at home. And a few days have passed since then, so now you would say, James said that he had seen Caroline at the restaurant, prepositional phrase, on Friday, talking about 2 or 3 days ago. All right, so the place language has changed and the time language has changed. Obviously, the time language can change yesterday, on Friday, last week, a month ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever. All right, Abraham Lincoln said 100 years ago. Okay. Another way to report this, I met James in a restaurant on Friday, and he said that he had seen Caroline there that day. All right, notice I've changed it. More than one way to skin a cat, as we say. Possible to say it another way. All right, this includes the information that in fact you met James at this restaurant. A little more detail. Okay, especially if Caroline doesn't know the restaurant. Okay. So you always have to think about place and time. For example, direct speech today, backshifted speech that day. All right. Okay. Well, today or Tuesday or whatever day it is. Now. Okay, I'm going to end the class now. Okay, yesterday Teacher Oakley said he was going to end the class then or at 11 or whatever time it is where you are. Okay. Yesterday, okay, gets shifted to the day before yesterday, of course. All right, so, I mean, these are kind of obvious, the way that they're shifted. All right, tomorrow, following day, here becomes places, here becomes there. If you're in a different place, this becomes that. These become those. All right, if I say these people are crazy, and you report it the next day, Oakley said that those people were crazy. All right, so these can become those, and this can become that. Far away. Okay, we are out of time. And do you guys have any last questions about reported speech in statements? And furthermore, tomorrow at the same time, we're going to look at questions, reported speech questions and requests. And 2 days from now, we're going to look at really advanced, ticklish, tricky reported speech. Even more so than today. Special cases. Any last questions today? As I have to, time is winding down and I have to end the class. Well, in that case, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for joining me. Hope I didn't confuse you too much. If you're a little bit confused, just come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it some more. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Topic.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.